Broke my nail. God, we're really put together today. I'm telling you.
It's a Tuesday. It's hard.
It is. So anyways, a lot has happened since we last recorded. Like a lot. Our last guest, I think, jinxed the podcast or jinxed England. And after he recorded his episode with us, like 2 days later, the Queen died.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Well, wait, I told you, right? I was working and I'm just scrolling on Facebook for like a minute or two, and I see something about the bridge being lowered because of the Queen's passing. And then I'm like, well, no shit, they're gonna lower a bridge so somebody can drive across it. That's just what happens. And then he probably texts me like 10 minutes later, and he goes, something about the Queen dying. I was like, wait, what? He goes, yeah, are you paying attention to the news? I said, no, I'm not. And then it all started clicking. I'm like, that's what they mean by the Queen passing. She dies. So they lower the bridge, and I guess whatever. But yeah.
I texted Allie. I was like, well, I wish we had this great I wish we were actually good at planning our podcast, because it was a little eerily coincidental.
It really was.
That we had a royal themed.
Well, then the day
episode.
too that we recorded was also like the anniversary of Princess Diana's death. The actual day that we recorded, not the day we released.
And then the Queen
died. Then the Queen died like 2 days after we did release.
Yeah.
So
on my birthday.
Was it? It was your birthday. That was a Thursday. Yeah.
I was texting my family. We like the royals and all that kind of fun stuff. All that British stuff. And I text my mom. I'm like, I'm going to be really mad if the Queen dies on my birthday.
Wait, you said this in the morning, like before?
Yeah, because they released, because Buckingham Palace released a statement about the health of a royal, and they never do that. So it just said that she's resting comfortably in Scotland.
But we all knew it was coming.
Well, yeah, she's
fucking old.
But they never release anything about the health.
I had no idea. I don't pay attention to news or anything.
My mom was like, my mom was like, it might be today. She's like, I'm really sorry. like not on my birthday.
She died so you can live on.
She did. So I told my mom, I was like, maybe I get England.
I mean, you are Lord.
I wasn't
not in England.
I know. I wasn't invited to the funeral, which was a little upsetting.
Yeah, but you watched it.
I did. 6 hours.
Wish I had that much time in the day.
Well, it was on in the back. I wasn't watching it actively. It was on in the background.
Yeah.
And I would glance over.
I was listening to my audiobook. I'm a big audiobook person anymore. I joined a book club, like an actual book club.
I have to read that book.
I listened to that book, and it was one of the best books I've ever listened to.
I did buy it. I plan to read it as I'm going to Florida this weekend. Yes. And I have a 2-hour plane ride, and then time by the pool and stuff. So
listen, shut the fuck up. We get it. Okay.
I'll be reading a beach day. So
yeah,
I'll be reading.
He's got his friend's wedding to go to.
In Florida. So.
But I'm very mad. Anyways, yeah, I need a vacation soon. Dan, we're planning a trip, right?
Yeah, Mexico.
Yes, next year.
2023.
Oh, we can bring shit and do an episode by the pool.
We could.
Conspiracy about Mexico.
We could.
I'm sure there's one that exists.
I'm sure.
Okay. Anyways, so Dan, should we get started?
I think so.
Okay. I mean,
we have tacos waiting for us. So.
We do. Taco Tuesday. It's a Tuesday.
We gotta get this show on the road.
I mean, they don't sell out, luckily, but it's already 6:42, and I'm hungry. So, okay.
As much as I love this podcast, I like tacos.
I think the ceiling's falling in.
I know. There's a dog falling through the ceiling,
or a cat.
I need a sip of my
There's a lot of possibilities in this house anymore. But anyways, I thought this was. Oh my god, my picture disappeared. Hold on. Give me a second. Refresh. Okay, there we go. So, I know we're big Pokemon people. I like Pokemon. You like Pokemon. We're both nerds. We play Pokemon Go all the time. That's our way to get. I
just opened it.
And he still has his sound on, so he opened it and you hear boink, boink, boink.
I'm sorry, I like the sound.
But anyways, there is a conspiracy or a Mandela effect about Pikachu.
Okay.
So now I actually do know this one, and the only reason I know this one is because we've been playing the game. But for a longest time, if you would have asked me, I would have said it's the other Pikachu.
Okay.
So there's two Pikachus, and everybody remembers seeing Pikachu with like a black tip to its tail.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like,
He
but
doesn't have one.
he doesn't.
No.
He has. Oh no, there's an
So
advertisement
they're
in
fake.
the way.
Those people that think that are fake fans because he doesn't
Well,
have
then
one.
I was a fake fan. Why is there an advertisement? I use the site too much apparently because there's an advertisement right in my screen. Can I move it? No. Okay.
You have
Anyways,
to buy whatever it is.
it's chicken. It's Tyson chicken. That has nothing to do with Pikachu. I'm
watching a video now.
literally, I don't know what the hell. Okay, hold on. Maybe let me try refreshing the page again. I want to show the picture. We still have to figure out how to put the picture up on the screen.
There is no black on the tail. But
I got it.
The
Okay.
tail does change based on its gender, though.
Yes,
Mhm.
but it's only a curved tail or like it's heart shaped or something.
It's heart shaped or
Yeah.
pointed.
So, oh no. God, I'm really fucking up today. Let me tell you. I just changed it back.
You're trying to buy that Tyson chicken.
No, I just. Now I got to go through the gallery again. Found it. So, I'm not put together today, and I'm only had like a couple sips at this point. So it's just this is me today. Deal with it. But if we can see, motherfucker, you can see. Damn it, Pikachu.
I'll try and
no
insert
black.
the picture.
Thank you. Yes, we'll try to take a
We'll
picture. We gotta
try-
get our shit together.
We'll
still.
try.
We'll
and
try to
insert
put a picture right here
here.
because I can't do it. I'm like touching my screen and everything's changing. And okay, anyways, he has a like right between his base of his like butt, if you want to call it, and his tail. There is a brown little patch,
Mhm.
but there is no black tip. Which I swear I even remember a black tip, but it's not.
It's black on his ears, though, right?
On his ears.
Yeah.
And it was just the brown on the bottom of the
Mhm.
tail, never on the top, which I don't know.
Fake fan.
Yeah, probably. I would never watch the show.
You didn't get into Pokemon until later in life, so.
Oh, okay. So
I'll let
when
it
I
slide.
was little, when it first came out, I did buy like a few packs of the cards, and I think the reason was just because like they
You
were
had
really
to,
cool.
yeah.
Well, they were cool, and I was like, oh, I can like trade with people. Okay. I can trade with people and like, oh, look how cute this one is. But I never cared about like the rarity of
Mhm.
them. I just wanted the cute looking ones. Like I think I had a really good one and I traded it for like, what is it? The Growler?
Growlithe.
Yeah. The tiger looking one.
Uh-huh.
I make my own names up for them and
Growler.
everybody gets mad. I mean, that's beer.
I did.
Happy hour. Anyways, yes. So he does not have a black tip on his tail. The end.
I'm 2 for 2 so far. I knew the Fruit Loops and I knew this one.
I still can't figure out. I never looked it up yet, but I can't figure out the Fruit Loop one. They're just like everybody remembers it this way, but it's not.
I know.
And I was like, what kind of description is that?
I like now that, like, listening back to our episodes, especially because I edit them, it sounds like you're like devolving into insanity because each episode you're like, the Fruit Loops, they're 2 O's. She's like, do you know the Fruit Loop one? It really broke you. It really broke you.
No, the Febreze one.
Oh, that one blew my mind too, to be honest. I thought there was like 1,000 E's in there. All right.
Can I do it?
So should we? Are you looking up the Fruit Loop one again?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't change the picture. I don't know if you
You're
can
not
see
in
it this
frame.
far
Yeah.
away. I can't. I'm trying to rotate without actually touching the screen. There we go.
There you go.
False Pikachu, black tip.
That one even looks fake.
Actual Pikachu. Now that I'm looking at the pictures side by side, yes, it does. I don't know. Anyways, this is a really long conversation, basically to say Pikachu has no black on the tip of his tail.
Yes, that is what you come here to listen to. These debates.
Our fucked up lives. Okay. Well, should we figure out who's going first?
Yeah. Are you
Okay.
ready?
Yeah. 2
Wait,
out of 3.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
We're gonna rock, paper, scissors.
All right,
I'm getting myself in
oh my God.
frame.
Ready?
Sorry, I was looking at the camera.
He's like, who changed it? I can't see myself now.
I can see you. You're fine.
Okay. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Boom.
Oh.
It's a scissor, I think.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Ooh.
Boom,
Okay.
motherfucker. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Ooh, paper. Okay, you won.
God, I'm so good at this.
We need more options.
There's always been 3 options, unless
Not
you
if-
want to pull Sheldon's way.
I was gonna say, not if you watch
rock,
Big
paper,
Bang Theory.
rock, paper, scissors, lizard,
There's
Spock.
Spock.
Okay, so
To watch that episode to remember how to play it.
I'm gonna go first.
Go for it. Hit me.
Mine's
Hit me with your
long.
conspiracy.
Okay. Mine's kind of long, but it's interesting and there's multiple parts to it.
Okay.
So I kind of wore my Golden Girls shirt to be a little fitting with my theme. Because Golden Girls used to be Nick at Night, like with the I Love Lucy and all that.
Yep.
So my conspiracy is all different types of the Nickelodeon conspiracies.
Woohoo! I actually don't know any of these, to be honest.
So I've heard of some, but I didn't really ever like
Maybe
comprehend any of them. So
yeah, I don't know. Just tell me.
So I have 3 different shows in here.
Okay.
So I'm going to be covering SpongeBob, the Wild Thornberries, and the Rugrats. So if you are born in the 2000s, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about with any of
the
these.
Wild Thornberries.
Yeah.
And SpongeBob. I still like SpongeBob. But...
SpongeBob gets a little bit for me.
But
Rugrats was like, but now I've seen clips of Rugrats. I'm like, why did I like that one?
It's because we were young and didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. Okay. So my 3 sources are www.toynk.com, www.bustle.com, and storywrite.com. So, interestingly, fans theorize about their favorite TV shows and movies are nothing new. When people love shows, whether it's something new or something old, people love to try to get inside the head of the writers and creators and figure out the possible why questions about the show. It's fun to theorize about the alternate endings or what different clues or hints along the way could mean.
Mm-hmm.
So, first one I have on here was SpongeBob. Now, there's a theory that each one of the characters stands for a different level of hell in Dante's Inferno.
I have heard of this one.
So,
I don't know if I knew it was about hell or the levels, the circles of hell.
Well, I think that's what it is, right? Yeah, lust and.
But no, they're the 7. If it's lust, they're the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, it says that. I wrote that down. Yeah, it is the 7 deadly sins. Oops, sue me. Okay. Anyways, SpongeBob. We got to add the disclaimer for this one for sure. Anyways, SpongeBob has that like overwhelming, enthusiastic, positivity, like outlook on life. So he represents lust. He's always happy, like go-getter. He's lust. Then you have his best friend, Patrick Star, and he's very lazy, very laid back, always eating. So he represents sloth and just never doing much. He fucking lives literally under a rock. Then you have Sandy, and she is the inexplicable squirrel friend, represents pride because she's always bragging about her home in Texas. So let's see. And then we have Mr. Krabs at the Krusty Krab. And
greed.
Thank you. Yes. He represents greed. He's always money hungry. He's always doing things to like rip people off to make extra profit and this and that. But yes, 100% greed.
Yeah.
Then you have Squidward. And very like boring, like not lazy, but just he's always pissed off. So obviously he represents anger. Or that isn't, it's anger, or what's the word I'm looking for?
Pride?
No, that was no, that was Sandy.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about? Who was the, like, is it?
You said pride. Did you say lust?
Yes, that's SpongeBob. So he represents.
The SpongeBob's 2 of them?
No, SpongeBob's Lust.
Then who's Pride? Oh, Pride was Sandy.
Pride was Sandy. Patrick is Sloth.
Sloth.
And then Mr. Krabs is
Is
Greed.
Greed.
And then you have Squidward. Oh, Wrath.
Wrath. Okay.
Wrath. And then let's see. I just skipped one. Where did I see that? Oh,
Gluttony.
You have a SpongeBob pet snail, Gary,
Uh-huh.
and he represents gluttony.
Okay.
So most times he's either eating or he's begging to be fed, whatever
Mhm.
the case, he's gluttony. Which
He's also
yeah,
a cat.
okay. Because like I'm thinking like I feel like that could also be Patrick.
I thought it was gonna. I thought you were gonna say he was gluttony. Patrick.
Yeah, but he is definitely Sloth for sure.
Yeah,
he doesn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then, last but not least, you have Plankton, and Plankton represents envy. He is always extremely jealous of Mr. Krabs and his lifestyle and how Krusty Krab does better than Chumbucket.
Yeah.
So yes, he's envy. And I feel, was that all 7? I feel like
that was
1, 2, 3, 4. That was 7. Okay. But then this is another theory about SpongeBob, and this one may be my favorite. Now, the source that I read, which would have been this Toy NK, they stated that the writer actually said this is not a conspiracy. This one is true. I am not going to, because I never read anywhere that this one is stated by the writer as being true. So that's just something that I've seen. I'm not saying it's true. But SpongeBob and the rest of the Bikini Bottom crew are all nuclear humanoid sea mutants. So this one actually does make sense, though, if you listen to the full theory. My cat's staring at me on here. Like I'm worried she's going to jump up. But anyway, so if you're a history buff, you will recall Bikini Atoll, which is an area in Marshall's Island, where the United States tested 23 nuclear weapons between 1946 and 1958, one for each area of the island. That explains not only why the creatures have developed arms and legs, they're fish, but it also explains why Sandy lives under the sea, even though she's a squirrel. So, if you think about it even further, too, when you're going from like one scene to another scene in SpongeBob, what do you see an image of? A nuclear explosion coming out of the sea.
Oh, that thing where it's like
you see like it's just like literally a nuclear explosion.
Okay.
Like a mushroom cloud. Let me see if I can. Because I want to show exactly what I'm talking about, because it's so creepy. So let's see. Fill this time with some fun music.
I'll cut this out.
That works too. Okay. Okay, here's a perfect GIF that we can use.
Well, I don't know.
Can I help you? Yeah. All right. Are we in frame?
Yeah.
Okay. See? And now you can remember that in between frames. And then here's another one. I know that this one has been. It's just a GIF that repeats.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one before.
So they have different images of nuclear explosions coming out of the ocean in between different scenes in SpongeBob. More so like when a giant like bomb drop. So that one I really think is really interesting. Because there's a lot of parallels, and whether or not SpongeBob really is based on this true story.
Yeah.
Definitely something to look into.
That's cool.
Now, the next show that I have going is the Rugrats. So if you are like under 20 years old, SpongeBob was a huge show. SpongeBob, not SpongeBob. Rugrats was a huge show when I was growing up, and it was basically 4 babies who were able to talk. Only one older cousin was able to understand them, named Angelica. And they would go on all of these crazy adventures all the time, and they would have like imaginary dinosaur that they had around with them all the time named Reptar. It was a fun show. Would I watch it now? Anyways,
I don't think we're the demographic
no.
anymore.
I used to love it though. And there was like 2 15-minute episodes, which is perfect because they've always had a very short attention span. So
yeah, they were
like,
broken up.
yeah, there was like 2, or was it 3?
I think it was 2.
I think it was 2. I think once in a while there would be 3 when they had really short episodes.
Yeah.
But that's a brief overview of
Halt,
what
I am Reptar.
the Reptar on ice.
Yeah.
So that's a basic overview of the Rugrats. Now let's go into the conspiracy surrounding Rugrats. So you have the conspiracy that they're all dead.
Yeah, is this the one? This is the one I think I've heard of. Is this the one with the dad?
He's part of it.
Yeah.
So then you have a theory. Let me just read what I have here. Everyone's favorite bossy baby, Angelica, dreamed to up the Rugrats because she was lonely. Dill seemed to be the only baby that is also real, as he is the only one she can't make disappear when she becomes frustrated with him. Ever wonder why he was the only baby who didn't talk? Which, if you think about it, Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lil, all of them talk, except for baby Dill. He's, you know I'm thinking too?
He was like very young though. Like, I mean, they're babies, but he was
they
like
were babies, but they never got any bigger when he was born. So they're all like a fucking year old.
Yeah, and he's like 2 weeks old.
The whole entire show. So then it was because he was the only baby who was also real, other than Angelica. So the other babies are just figments of her imagination. Now, here's the reasoning behind Chucky. We all remember that Chucky's dad is a bit neurotic. He was, I think, like a germaphobe and all that. And that his mom died in a car accident. The theory suggests that Chucky died in the car accident as well, making Chucky's dad even more off kilter than he already was at the time. I don't know if that one's a little for me. But then you have Stu, which was Tommy's father.
This is the one I think I've heard.
Yeah, probably. We all remember that Stu was always I think he was technically an inventor, but he was always making up toys in the basement because Tommy was stillborn. After Tommy died at birth, Stu Pickles went pretty nuts and spent all of his time making toys in the basement as a way to deal with his grief.
That's the one I heard.
Yes. Can I help? Are you interested too?
Like, I have grief.
You're right. Dad didn't give me his french fries.
Yeah.
Then you have Phil and Lil, who were identical because the DeVilles terminated the pregnancy and aborted Phil and Lil before their biological sex was identified. Angelica knows that they would have been twins, so she simply assigned them each a sex as she didn't know any better. And then just a little conspiracy on Angelica too, because why not?
Sprinkle.
So, well, it seems like Angelica has a pretty dark history herself. According to the theory that doll Angelica is always carrying around Cynthia. I remember all the hair being pulled out in like weird places, but supposedly this doll reminds her of her biological mother, who was a drug addict and is dead. The way this is written is really funny to me. Who's dead? Charlotte, on the other hand, is her stepmother and is the opposite of her dead mother and is overly focused on her career. Though perhaps more functional, Charlotte never gives Angelica much love or attention, so Angelica feels lonely, like she needs to make up her friends and have fun. And that is the whole reasoning behind her being lonely and needing to make up all of these babies, even though they're all dead. So that one's a weird one. Do I agree? Okay. This one's probably my favorite, though. This is about the wild thornberries.
Yes, I love the wild thornberries.
So this one, if any of them makes sense in what the writer was thinking, this definitely is it for me. So Nigel Thornberry. Well, let's go into what the wild thornberries were. So the wild thornberries was a family who basically lived out of their van and just went exploring the jungle. And that was their life. So then you had the father and the mother. Then you had Elijah, which she could talk to animals. She had a pet monkey named Darwin. And then Elijah's older, I can't talk. Her older sister named Debbie. And she was very like punk-ish. She never talked a whole lot to her family. She didn't care about her family. She's very. And then you also had Donnie. Do you remember the little? He was like
Tarzan.
Yes, picture Tarzan, very like wild jungle boy. So there's a theory about each of them. So Nigel Thornberry, who hails from a family of aristocrats, is brilliant with animals and bad with everything else. Nigel is indeed autistic. It is why his behavior is so sporadic. His family raised him as properly as they could, finding joy in his offer to be professor at Oxford. But Nigel could not handle the pace of school and opted to travel doing what he loves. His moods and knack for danger cause him to withdraw from his children, and that's why they are usually left alone in the RV. His wife going with him to make sure he's all right. Being the only sane one, she is torn between doing what is right by the man she fell in love with and her children.
It seems more like a backstory than a conspiracy.
Fair. But it's a conspiracy about each of these characters. It's the conspiracy about the backstory. So then you have Debbie.
It's now conspiracy backstory happy hour.
That was supposed to be like a finger thing,
like
but I have no other finger thing. Then you have Debbie, and she is the eldest child in the family. Not child, she's like 17, I think. But she is used to being left alone. She passes her time listening to music, looking at magazines, and smoking pot. It is why her hair is usually covering half of her face. She only sobers when her mother is around or Elijah is in trouble. But for the most part, she prefers to remain alone. When she is sober, she is moody and sporadic, usually angry her high has been ruined, or that she has yet again to fix something that someone else messed up. Though in these moments of clarity, she chooses her true love for her family. I guess choose her true love, so she puts them first.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. And then you have Elijah. Elijah is still young, trying to cope with her family the best way she knows how, by traveling and finding animals. This one's kind of funny, to be honest. So for them, she could possibly spend more time together. Her traveling took her upon a witch doctor who gave her something, aka something ecstasy-ish. Which, here's my thing: didn't, like, in the beginning of that show, like in the introduction to the show,
yeah, I think it was
wasn't
the
that part of the story that she found a witch doctor? And
I don't know if it was I don't remember if it was a witch doctor, but it was definitely someone that gave her the ability to talk to animals.
But they basically are saying in this theory that somebody didn't give her the ability, they just gave her ecstasy. So
gave her some shrooms.
Her hallucinations cause her to believe that she can talk to animals, when in truth she is simply feeling the side effects of the drug. She's like 10 years old in this show. Can we just point that out for a minute?
That's what happens when you wander in the jungle and talk to a strange witch doctor.
Oh my god. Her need to explore remained the same, but she took the drug in order to keep her gift. And then you have Darwin. So Darwin is the monkey, which is her pet. So Darwin is a chimpanzee Elijah first talked to, giving him the name of someone she thinks her father would approve of in order to further win his favor. So Darwin, philosopher or whatever.
Yeah, well, he wrote the he was big into animals and did
Darwin's theory. It's a theory.
Yes, the theory,
like
and
I probably sound
natural selection is what I was.
Yes,
that's it.
That's
natural
it.
selection.
Which I think natural selection is actually brought up in the show.
I just said it today because someone sent me a Instagram that TikTokers now, instead of eating Tide Pods, they're pouring NyQuil on chicken and cooking it.
What?
And I was like, that's natural selection. Like,
let them all die off. You know what? It's just,
that's why I said
with
it.
The stupid people anymore.
That's what I said. I said maybe this is a good thing. Maybe this is natural selection.
Why? What is the urge to do it?
I don't know. Add the alcohol in it. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't think NyQuil tastes good for, especially.
No,
for chicken.
Not like the grape or the cherry. There's no good flavor of it.
No.
Anyways. So Darwin is a chimpanzee who Elijah first talked to, giving him the name of someone she thinks her father would approve of in order to further win his favor. The chimpanzee is grateful to Elijah and follows her everywhere, usually trying to talk her out of the most dangerous antics. This is Elijah's conscience speaking through the monkey while on her trips of ecstasy.
She just keeps taking it. She doesn't stop.
Well, that's how she talked to the monkey.
She's
It's
an
like the
addict.
little devil. She's got a monkey and a pill on her shoulders. Do it. Don't do it. Okay.
I'd watch that show.
And then you have Donnie, who's like a freaking jungle boy. He's like a baby Tarzan, which it makes this sound even funnier. So Donnie is a child found in the wild whose parents had been murdered by poachers. Such a traumatic experience has stolen his sanity, and thus he behaves like an animal, having lived and raised in the jungle with no human contact. The Thornberries feel sorry for him, but none more so than Nigel, who seems a bit off himself in the boy. Oh, who sees a bit of himself in the boy and the way that he lost his own mind.
Interesting.
So I like it, but and then I started doing Doug, but I was like, I don't want to do Doug because some of them were like, for instance, if you remember, what is it? It's called Just Doug, right?
Mhm.
And the guy's name was Doug Funny.
Yeah.
But like some of them were like really weird, and I'm like, we get canceled for saying this. But it was like Patty was a lesbian, and that's why she was never into Doug, and she always liked to play sports and stuff. And I'm like, it just could be she was never into Doug, and then she liked to play sports. And then the other one was like, I didn't even read it all the way through, but it was like Roger, who was the bully, was actually in love with Doug because it was the reason he was always picking on him.
yeah.
But I was like, he could just be an asshole too. So
that's
all I got, because I was like, I'm not covering Doug. Too controversial.
That was cool. I like them.
I know. I like the little ones. The little one-offs. They're cute. They're quick.
I like hearing about my childhood.
I know. Oh, well, if you think this was cool, you should wait till I cover Disney.
Oh, I know. They're all crazy because they're all based off of Grimm.
Oh,
fairy
I mean
tales.
like Disney World.
Oh,
Disney World's got some good ones.
Good. That's the ones I like.
Okay.
I mean, the Grimm fairy tales are actually really interesting.
Yeah, but are they theories or are they actually like?
No, they're what the Disney movies are based off of.
Yeah,
like
but they're just the darker versions. Actually, they were the original
original
versions. They were the original versions. But
yes. Okay, my turn.
Your turn.
My germs. Hold on, let me get on. Wet my whistle. My pumpkin spice latte.
Can I just say too? I know I told you earlier, but like we have so much alcohol in this house, and it's all mango flavored. Because it's like the one that you buy any expansion or variety pack of like a seltzer, and it's got a mango flavor in there. This is the one flavor that I'm allergic to, and he won't drink it. So we have like 20,000 cans of mango seltzer in this house. So if anybody wants mango seltzer, I got you covered.
I will drink them eventually. I like mango.
You said that like 3 months ago.
I know. Well, I got a nice coffee today, so I'm pretending it's alcoholic.
I gave him Bailey's, but
it's okay. We're getting tacos at the bar afterwards.
And Coronas.
Well, mine's short, so it'll help accelerate.
You got like 5 minutes.
No, I could probably do it. No, just kidding. So I know. Well, I guess it doesn't really count because our last episode was a guest one, so it doesn't count anymore. But I was gonna say, I brought to you another haunted town.
I love that.
So this one is not New Jersey, but it's a fellow colony state nearby. So have you ever heard of Dudleytown?
No.
Okay.
It gives me Harry Potter vibes.
It kind of does. Well, I think they were the Dudleys. I think. Yeah.
No, were they the Dursleys?
Maybe.
I'm really bad.
I forget.
I don't know. I should stop talking.
I'm a bad fan too. I like the movies, but don't ask me who anyone was besides the main people.
Dudley was the kid though.
Yeah.
Dudley Dursley.
Stop asking me questions.
I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't read any of the books. I only watched the movies.
All right.
Excuse me. Sorry.
New topic.
Conspiracy happy hour. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about Dudleytown, which is in Connecticut. So one of the most renowned damned places in Connecticut is an abandoned and allegedly cursed village called Dudleytown. But as with many dark places, Dudleytown wasn't always like that. Um, the funny fact is, it's called Dudleytown, but it was never actually a town. The name was given at an unknown date to a portion of Cornwall, Connecticut, that included several members of the Dudley family. So they just like lived in this area,
Okay.
and they just called it Dudleytown because there was a bunch of Dudleys over there. But it was really Cornwall. The area that became known as Dudleytown was settled in the early 1740s by Thomas Griffiths, followed by Gideon Dudley, and by 1753, I don't even think this is a real name, but Barzi. It almost looks like it's my last name, but it's not. It's Barzillai Dudley. And
Barzali?
Barzial
Barzi.
I don't know.
It's
Beelzebub
Italian.
Dudley and Abel Dudley. Martin Dudley joined them a few years later. Other families besides the Dudleys settled around this area too. Like much of Connecticut, settlers came to the area around what is now the quiet little town of Cornwall in the mid 18th century, including the first Dudleys who came from England and helped settle the area. They helped create what became a thriving community known then as Aylesbury, primarily fueled through the region's growing iron industry. Homes were built, the land was farmed, iron was forged, and the town grew and prospered, and all was well. Or so it seemed. Some attribute.
That would be me.
Some attribute the demise of the town to multiple mundane factors, like normal stuff: the depletion of the farmland, the decline of the area's iron industry, the natural progression of younger Americans heading west to settle new lands. Of course, there are others who simply believed that the Dudley clan was cursed. So
they believed that the family was cursed and not necessarily the town?
Yes.
Okay.
And as in Nordic, as in, oh my God, let me start over. Of course, there are others who simply believe that the Dudley clan was cursed, as quite a few members of the Dudleys supposedly came to untimely ends, and that the curse extended to the village they helped found. Whatever the cause, the Dudleys died off, and the settlement's population continued to dwindle.
Did you say that there were 7 of them? I don't know why.
There was I didn't mention any wives, but
no, I just said I don't know why. I feel like you said 7 of them that were in the town.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Not 7.
Not 7.
Okay.
Some attribute. Oh, I already said that. Oh, yeah. Whatever the cause, the Dudleys died off, and the settlement's population continued to dwindle until about the turn of the 20th century, when the last resident finally gave up and abandoned what was left of the town. The surrounding forest slowly swallowed up the homes and buildings, and today the only remnants of what had been are a few crumbling foundations and empty cellars.
So who owns this land then? Still that same town?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
But I'll tell you about the curse.
Mm-hmm.
This is, all speculation about the curse.
Mm-hmm.
But it was said that the Dudleys traced their heritage back to a Saxon named Dud. He was the Earl of Mercia, and he died in the early part of 700 AD. So he's old.
He's dead.
He's very dead and very old. It was his land which would eventually become known as Dudley Castle. The town's story and the curse began in England in 1510 when Edmund Dudley planned to overthrow King Henry VIII and was beheaded because he didn't succeed. At Edmund Dudley's beheading, a curse was placed on all the Dudleys, both present and future, for their treason. All Dudleys from Edmund's lineage would be surrounded with horrors. The future Dudleys would eventually settle in Dudleytown in Connecticut. Several town residents went insane, and some of them even killed themselves after having seen demons.
Damn.
Numerous footage of paranormal events in the town have supposedly been captured. Hikers and other visitors have seen orbs flying around in the area. Other visitors have also claimed that the area is tranquil and that it does not have any wildlife in it at all for some reason. Like it's just dead
Nothing
silent.
can live there. Like
It's just eerily quietly. Like I don't know if anything can live there, but just nothing lives there. The story continues, stating that anyone who has tried to live in what had been Dudleytown has come into terrible misfortune. Over the years, there has allegedly been everything from suicides to demonic possessions and all the hysterical drama in between.
I don't know what it is about Connecticut, but just Connecticut in itself seems like it's a very haunted, demonic possession type of state.
It seems to be a lot of like same with like the Pine Barrens. I feel like just forests in general, you should stay out of them. Stay out of the forest.
Stay out of Connecticut.
So a couple, Ed and Lorraine Warren, famously recorded a Halloween special from Dudleytown.
Wait, they're like,
yes,
they were famous like ghosts experts or explorers, whatever.
Yep.
They're dead though, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay.
They did this in the early 1970s, declaring it officially possessed.
Interesting.
Which essentially opened the supernatural floodgates. So Allison already asked the question, but if you're wondering who Ed and Lorraine are and why you should care about their declaration of this town, the Warrens have been considered America's preeminent experts of the subject of spirits and demonology.
I've been like on a ghost watching like YouTube channel lately, and they are always brought up. They're like supposed to be, I think they were the ones who did like the exorcism on it was a house in Connecticut. They made a movie about it.
Emily Rose.
No. I don't know. I can't even remember right now, but
whatever. That'll be another future episode. But yeah, he was a demonologist and she was a medium. And together they were a power couple.
Say famous.
Yeah. Even more important, perhaps, is the fact that for the past 50 years, religious authorities have consistently turned to Ed and Lorraine to control some of the most profane outbreaks of diabolical phenomenon in the country. And if you had nobody that would listen or help, you turn to the Warrens. But like you said, they're no longer with us. They've passed away. Since then, Dudleytown has been home to all sorts of alleged paranormal experiences, with visitors witnessing all manner of spirits and phantoms, as well as having unsettling feelings of dread and fear. As you might expect, the area has also drawn the attention of those enthralled with dark forces and demonic rituals, plus a healthy number of amateur ghostbusters and teenagers simply searching for trouble. In short, it has become a damnation destination, which I really like that phrase.
Damnation destination.
Of course, much of the methodology. Of course, much of the methodology. No, I was right the first time. I'm gonna start over again. Of course, much of the mythology around the curse of Dudleytown has been debunked, by a Dudley descendant by the name of Reverend Gary P. Dudley. But why would anyone let that get in the way of a good spooky story? You know, who cares about them? And then he said that there's no curse, otherworldly events, or dark tragedies in the actual history of the town. I wrote myself a note. I didn't read it, but if you're interested in the book, it's by Reverend Gary P. Dudley, and the title of the book is The Legend of Dudleytown, Connecticut: Solving Legends Through Genealogical and Historical Research.
Maybe we'll write that one down too. And once we have people sign up for our conspiracy book club, we'll go
and it was actually
one.
Published in 2019.
Oh.
So pretty
19. Oh, wow.
So pretty recent, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Furthermore, local historians have found no genealogical link between the Dudley family of Cornwall and the English nobleman I mentioned earlier, and noted many other factual inconsistencies in the rumors. The village's decline has instead been attributed to its distance from clean drinking water and unsuitable soil for cultivation. One confirmed case of suicide of a village resident took place in New York State rather than within Cornwall.
Well, it went crazy in the town, and then
That's what I said too.
yeah,
he got so crazy he left, went to New York, which is even crazier.
I think killed himself.
Yeah. Since the 1990s, police in Cornwall have responded to numerous cases of vandalism of Dudleytown. The 1999 movie, The Blair Witch Project, about a haunted forest, prompted increased interest in the alleged haunted village again.
But it was in a different, like, Blair Witch.
It wasn't based on it. Like the Blair Witch Project was not
but
based on
it made people want to go
Dudleytown.
explore this forest.
Yeah. This increased the frequency of such incidences. The owners of Dudleytown's property have closed it to the public. Neighbors and the Connecticut State Police watch for trespassers regularly. And if you're caught there, you are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It's private property, so
I guess, but like
it's not like a state park or anything. It's like someone's property.
That whole area of land is,
Mhm.
even though there's like a town on it.
Yeah, well, the town's no longer there.
Well, yeah, but that's a lot of land for like one person to own, unless it's like somebody like within the government who owns like a district.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably more like it's owned by like Cornwall, or it's like it's part of Cornwall.
Yeah, so it's owned by the town still.
They just called Dudleytown because there was 4 Dudleys that lived there.
Yeah.
It wasn't an actual municipality. So they're probably like, stop hanging out in the forest.
Is that what they were doing?
Yeah, they're like,
scram, go away.
Scram,
go ahead.
scram, kids. Yep. So can you go to Dudleytown? You cannot. The remains of Dudleytown are on a private property owned by the Dark Entry, which I thought was really funny, the Dark Entry Forest Association, who vigorously discourage all visitors. Well, maybe you should call yourself something less boring,
demonic.
Yeah.
Like if I was like, I'm not that brave, but if I was, that would be like the first place that I'd go explore.
Yeah, like call yourself like the Cornwall Association. Yeah, that's Cornwall Housing Association. No one's gonna go there. Not the Dark Entry Forest Association. It's just
that's like calling it Ghost Town Association.
Please enter
demonic
here.
Location Association. Oh, Demonic Location Association.
Yeah,
I just made that up.
It is, like I said before, they vigorously discourage all visitors, and it is heavily patrolled by local and state police, who will not hesitate to arrest and prosecute any trespassers. And that is my tale about Dudleytown, Connecticut.
Now, would you ever do that? Like go, not necessarily to this town because it's illegal, but like if you ever found like a ghost town that had like all of these like demonic tales and stuff, are you that type of person who would want to go explore, or would you just want to sit back and listen to other people's stories about exploring?
I would go and explore it, but it would be in the daytime. Like it would not be at night.
See, yeah, maybe during the day, but like
I'm not going to sit there with my Geiger counter.
With like what's the tap stuff and like
the dowsing rods.
Yes, thank you.
I'm not trying to listen to the demon try and talk to me. No, I'm sorry.
But I have to say,
I'll go during the day and take a picture on a building ruin.
A huge fan of listening to people try to communicate with. I don't. Maybe it's because it's spooky season. Like we're already in the end-ish of September, so like I like watching people try to communicate.
Yeah, like walking,
like taps and all that stuff.
Yeah, I like watching it too, but I don't want to do it myself.
No. Yeah.
Like I said, I'll go during the day. It'll be nice. But
did I ever tell you about my like spooky experience in Cape May? It was my cousin got married. I don't remember where it was. It was some sort of like old like Victorian style hotel. So she
was it that big white one that's in right off the beach?
Could be.
What's it called? Congress Hall?
No, I don't think that was it. But so she got married on November 1st. So her rehearsal dinner was she got married on November 2nd. Then her rehearsal dinner was on November 1st. And that's when like the whole wedding party and family arrived because we all had rooms there. But my cousin ended up arriving on the 31st, which 31st of October, she arrived on Halloween. So when she gets there, they were supposed to have the entire hotel booked to themselves because it wasn't like a huge hotel. It was just like a Victorian house with rooms and stuff. So when she gets there were a bunch of people walking around, and she's like, what the hell is going on? Like, this is supposed to be our hotel. Well, she asked the people at check-in who they were, and they told her, oh, that's actually Taps. They're here for their Halloween special.
That's cool and terrifying.
Yeah, because I had to stay there 2 of those nights. And let me tell you, I have never experienced any, and I also was probably scared out of my mind. So imagining stuff, but the one night that we stayed there, I can specifically remember my sister and I had a hotel room together. And the way it was set up was we were sleeping on a loft. And like down below was just like a TV, couch, and everything like that. And then in the adjoining room was my mom and my dad. I was probably 17-ish. So middle of the night, we hear glass shatter. Like, it sounded like somebody took glass or like a vase and just smashed it on the floor. Like, it was loud. We both shot up out of bed. Like, we were both asleep. We were shot up out of bed. We're like, what the hell was that? And then my sister's like, you check. No, I'm like, you check. So we're fighting back. Who's going to check? I drew the short straw. So I had to like sit up in bed and peer over the balcony. There was nothing out of place. There was no glass on the floor, nothing. And it was straight up a glass shatter. So then we're talking with my mom the next day. We're telling her all this. She's like, that's so weird. Last night when I was sleeping, your dad woke me up and he said that I was screaming in my sleep. And she said she woke up and she felt like somebody was literally hands on her chest holding her down, and she couldn't move. And then we're telling all this stuff to my cousin next morning and everything like that. The lady who works at the front desk overhears everything. She goes, oh yeah, a lot of guests report both of those experiences all the time when they stay here. So you mean like it wasn't somebody in the kitchen dropping glass or whatever? No. Like, or wait a minute here.
Your mom down.
What the fuck? It was the weird. I was so freaked out, and I don't like that stuff. Like, so having to pay for a hotel room, getting stuck there, and then finding this out was one of the worst experiences ever.
I thankfully have not had an experience like that, knock on wood.
You just knocked on your head?
Yeah. Okay. Made of wood. The only thing I can think of or remember, my sister's had a lot of experiences. But I've never personally, thankfully, had anything happen to me.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood. I remember one time we were younger. We were all still living at home, and my sister was living in the basement at the time. And I just remember she came flying out of the basement, and the only thing that she told us is she went down. She came upstairs or for something, probably maybe to go to the kitchen or something. And then she came back down, and all her sneakers were stacked perfectly in a triangle.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah. Next time you see her, ask her about it. And that was the only thing that she even ever experienced.
Was there ever any like sort of like history done on your street or on your town? Because you have a pretty old town that you used to live in. Was there any like stories about anything like that, like a hauntings or anything?
No. And our house was owned by the church before, so hopefully they cleansed it.
Didn't bury anybody under the floorboards.
No, hopefully they purged all the demons before they sold it to my parents.
Yeah, right.
But that was the only thing, and that was hopefully the last.
Which even still, I mean, that's not like a scary thing. I feel like that's just
it was more like a playful
ghost playing jokes on you.
It was like terrifying Casper. At the time, but now it's more just like it was more.
It's a cute story.
It's a cute, benign story.
Love it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yay. Well, what time is it?
It is only 7:32.
It is time for tacos.
It is taco o'clock. Look at my cat. Yeah, it's cute.
Look at my cat.
Oh, you can't see her.
Oh, okay. Never mind. She's right here. That's what I've been doing. I've been petting her this whole time. So the camera is like, what the fuck?
Yeah. We'll have to we'll have to think of some good spooky ones since
For
we are
Halloween, I was just thinking about that.
since we're coming into October. I'll have to look up some spooky ones.
Well, this one is going to be the last one that releases in September.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think maybe instead of conspiracies for the month of October, we do ghost stories.
Okay.
Like actual like haunting stories, or even like murder stories.
Murder.
Something spooky, not just a conspiracy.
You could do the Jersey Devil.
Yeah, but I feel like
that's not really spooky.
It's not spooky.
Even though it's a terrifying demon creature, it's not.
I'm trying to get in touch with somebody who's like a Jersey Devil expert to help us with that episode, because
That'd be cool.
he knows a lot, and I'm trying to see if we can find a way to contact him and have our first celebrity guest.
Okay, we'll have to talk offline.
Yeah.
See which spooky stories we'll do
over tacos and Corona. Okay.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. We're out.
We're out. Tacos. Thank you for listening to Conspiracy Happy Hour. Goodbye.